Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming today. We really appreciate the turnout. We're so honored today to be here to announce the 2017, it is 2017, not 16, because the inductee dinner is in January, but we're here today to announce the 2017 National Football Foundation Leadership Hall of Fame recipient. But first, a little background on the National Football Foundation for those of you who don't know what the NFF is. The NFF has a mission to develop the power of amateur football and foster leadership, sportsmanship, competitive zeal, and academic excellence in the classroom and on the field. They inspire young people to excellence in holding up the greatest players and coaches as role models because they find that these skills tend to translate to not only playing football or any other sport, but also when they get out of college. And the few that do go on to play professional football, many, many more go on to do other things in business and in life. And football instills character, discipline, teamwork, and all the great qualities that can make you a successful human being. So by honoring, publicizing, and providing financial support to amateur athletes, high school football players, the NFF also has a foundation mission of academic excellence. So it's not just about running a 4.2 40 or catching a 40-yard pass. It's about getting a 4.0 in the classroom and learning and becoming a productive member of society. So I do want to introduce today who the host committee is for the inductee dinner. World of Beer CEO Paul Avery. Unfortunately, I believe he is stuck in Shanghai, China right now. His flight got delayed. He's supposed to be here. He may come in late. Mayor Bob Buckhorn, Commissioner Ken Hagan, myself, Kathleen Shanahan, the chairman of Groundwork Solutions, Jeff Vinnick, the owner of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who also is busy doing something, some guy named Steven Stamkos. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but he would be here today. He's tied up down the street. And Brian Glazier, the owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What is so unique about the 2017 inductee is that not only did he spend a lot of years in football, he spent a lot of years right here in Tampa Bay in the world of hockey. And many of you knew him as an inspiring, thoughtful, articulate leader, not just in the front office of the Tampa Bay Lightning, but also in the community. He did so many things in our community while he was here for a short 5 years, from helping homeless vets to working with children's causes, the United Way. They helped set up the Tampa Bay Lightning Community Heroes program. I could go on and on. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time detailing his background today because other people will do that. But what I do want to say is that the awardee is a good personal friend. He's a man of character, a man of honor. He does what he says what he does. And by this point, you've probably figured out who it is. The 2017 award inductee is Tod Leiweke. Thank you. Todd's the kind of person that when you spend time with him, you want to spend more time with him because you meet with him, you walk away, you feel uplifted. You never feel negative walking away from a meeting with Tod Leiweke. Again, I could just go on and on. He's been a good personal friend. I know he's been a mentor to many of you out there, and I'm really looking forward to having him come back to Tampa. As you all know, he did take the job as the Chief Operating Officer of the National Football League. And just as a quick anecdote, he was selected to take this award prior to his taking the job at the NFL. So those two things did not coincide. It was just kind of a happy coincidence that he's now working in the world of football and he's getting the National Football Foundation's Leadership Award. So thank you for coming today. The next speaker I want to introduce is Steve Hatchell. Steve is the CEO of the National Football Foundation. He has a very rich history in college athletics and in football. At the age of 33, he became the commissioner of the Metropolitan Collegiate Athletic Conference, a post he held for 5 years. From 1987 to 1993, Steve headed up the Orange Bowl Committee and got FedEx to be its inaugural sponsor, which was a landmark relationship at that time. He also created and served as the first commissioner of the Big 12 Conference back in the mid-90s, as well as served on the organizing committees for the Olympic Games, as well as 2 Super Bowls. So with that, Steve Hatchell, please help me welcome Steve Hatchell.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ken. Well, good afternoon, everybody. We are delighted to be here, and on behalf of our chairman, Archie Manning, and our board of directors, greetings to all of you. We're really, really thrilled to be here, and personally, would like to recount the fact that one of the people that hired me to this job over 12 years ago was George Steinbrenner, speaking of Tampa connections. And a lot of people didn't realize that he had played and coached college football. And he took his duties with the Football Foundation so seriously that he endowed 2 of our scholarships. And he was a very thoughtful, hardworking member of our awards committee that picks the scholar athletes every year. So I view it as a badge of honor to have that closeness to Mr. Steinbrenner in Tampa, and the legacy and the things that he asked us to do, we've tried to follow through with. So it's been very nice. A couple of things we're going to bring up, and frankly, we have the opportunity to be casual about this, but we would like you to know that the Football Foundation is a very serious organization that promotes the good in the game. And we believe that there are wonderful opportunities for development of leadership for young people throughout the entire country. And it's been that way since the game started in 1869. And we think there's greater opportunities today than ever before. Speaking of Tod Leiweke, not only are we thrilled about this, but Tod and I go back long before he was in Seattle, long before he was here in Tampa. He really embodies all of the values that we put forward and we like to promote in the game of football. And so with Ken's help and the wonderful people here, we're able to have the leadoff event for the college football playoff next January, and to be able to salute Tod and the role that he's playing now at the National Football League, which is, this is a critical time in football. And to have him there is a marvelous, marvelous thing for all of us. It's a real gift because we know he's going to work so hard at it. You know, you can't do these functions, and our offices are in Dallas, our Hall of Fame's in Atlanta, our biggest award dinner is in New York in December. We are around the country, and we're there for all of football. And you can't do functions like this unless you have wonderful people that step up and say, we believe in what you're doing. We believe in your mission. And that was Ken Jones, who said, you got to come into Tampa, which we did, and we've had these marvelous meetings with Ken. We get a chance to work with a lot of fantastic people around the country, but having a chance to work with Ken and his organization has been marvelous. And I think it's appropriate for me to say that the whole host committee, led by Ken as a co-chairman, is Archie Manning, will be part of that, Paul Avery, Mayor Buckhorn, Brian Glazier, Commissioner Ken Hagan, Kathleen Shanahan, and Jeff Vinnick. And what a wonderful group for us to turn around and say to the football world, look what's happening in Tampa. We get to honor Tod Leiweke and look at the people who are behind this effort, because what we do at the Football Foundation is to say the game's okay. And so to have this team that we get a very blessed opportunity to work with here is fantastic. The function that we have will be January 5. It'll be here in the Convention Center. And it's all about Tod. The Leadership Hall of Fame dinner is a wonderful way for us to say, Tod, we appreciate you, we appreciate your leadership, we appreciate all of the qualities that you have, and we get a chance to showcase that. And we always like to thank Bill Hancock and his staff of the College Football Playoff for allowing us to partner with him in the showcase of these wonderful activities at the College Football Playoff. I would be remiss, and Ken touched on this, but a lot of people, even since I've been here today, who is the Football Foundation? Our actual title is National Football Foundation and College Football Hall of Fame. We've been around since 1947. General Douglas MacArthur, Grantland Rice, and Coach Red Blake of Army were the guys that really made it happen for football. And for 35 years, they had the most wonderful people in the whole United States that said, we care about football and we're going to make a difference. And we had people like Dwight Eisenhower and John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart, and the guy that created all kinds of things from Pan Am Airlines, guys that had played football that said, we care about the sport and we're going to protect it well into the future. And the legacy for us, and we have some of our staff members here who are completely dedicated to that. Matthew Sine, Will Rudd, Phil Marwell. The whole idea is to showcase the best in the game. And we hope that we don't waver from that. This is now our 69th year. And we can turn around and say that we've given the gold medal at our dinner in December to 7 U.S. presidents. We gave it to Condoleezza Rice last year. And it's a who's who in America in football that we say football matters. And that's our mantra. We get an opportunity all the time to honor the key people who support the game. The scholar-athlete ideal is a big deal with us. So when people bring up negatives about football, we have counter arguments about what's going on, such as the graduation rate overall is 75% for college football. Did you know that there are 776 colleges that play football? We have an opportunity to really showcase the game in a very significant way. At the grassroots level, we have a chapter system where we work with 5,000 high schools and 500,000 high school kids every year. And we're in 47 states. And between what we do at the chapter level and what we do at the collegiate level, we give out $1.5 million worth of scholarships to the top scholar-athlete football kids in the country, high school and college. And it's just because they were terrific football players and that they were leaders wherever they were. And we like to talk about all the time that think about Tod and think about our mission, and you talk about how we define this for the whole country through football. It's hard work, it's discipline, the whole concept of get up, get up, get up, teamwork, integrity. And we like to talk about the relentless pursuit of excellence. It's very important to us. This is our 9th inductee with Tod, and so he has what we think is a nice group of people he'll be joining. We've had a chance to honor Arizona Cardinals President Michael Bidwell, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, and now Tod Leiweke. And we're very, very proud to add Tod to that list. We think it's very fantastic, to be honest, all the way across the board. Would like to just take a moment to say hello to Jerry Kulig and Mitch Schreiber of the Outback Bowl. One of the great things about the Football Foundation is that we work closely with the College Football Officiating Group, the College Football Playoff. We get to work with every entity that's out there, and the bowl guys are great. Both Matthew Sine and myself are bowl guys, and we think that's one of the really special things that makes college football so special. So Jerry and Mitch, thanks for joining us here today. And in conclusion, I would like to say, first of all, thank you all for being here. It's extremely meaningful. It's not just for the heck of it. It's really meaningful that you're here. This is a big deal for us and a big deal for all of football. Archie Manning was not able to join us, and you should know that, bless his heart, he does have some health issues. And when you played with the Saints back when he did, you paid a price that, was pretty doggone tough. And he does have legitimate health issues, and it's not just a dodge, otherwise he'd be here. This is the most wonderful chairman that the Football Foundation has ever had, and we're able to do so many things because of his leadership and his support. But what we did is that our folks from BMG in Indianapolis went to the Manning Passing Academy last week in Thibodaux, Louisiana. And there are 1,250 quarterbacks there under the eye of all of the Mannings, trying to figure out a better way to pass the football. And Archie sat down with our crew last week to do a video tribute to Tod, and you'll see much more of that. But Archie will be here in January, clearly for the College Football Playoff, and clearly he'll be here for the dinner with Tod Leiweke. So in conclusion, thanks again, Ken. We appreciate you. Thank you, Tampa, for embracing this. It's wonderful. Thank you.
It's a real privilege for us to honor Tod. We talk about leadership. He's been a leader in a lot of different areas, a lot of different categories in other sports, but also in football, and now being in the league office. He's a doer. I mean, there are people that do and people who follow, and Tod's a leader, and he's a great guy, and what a privilege for us to induct him into the National Football Foundation Leadership Hall of Fame.
So as you could see, Archie actually came off the football field from trying to throw footballs and did a video for Tod. He was still wearing his sports shirt, so it was really, really a pleasure to have him do that. The next person I'm going to introduce is Rob Higgins, and I've known Rob for a long time, and I got to tell you, there are people that do this and get involved in sports and communities, and I've been all over the country. I know the mayor has and Ken Hagan has. There's nobody more respected than Rob Higgins in this world, not just in soccer, which he's in his own right a great athlete, in football, in baseball, in the Super Bowl, you name it. We've been to a couple of different trips recently, and every single person comes up to me and says, don't ever lose him because it'll be a huge loss for Tampa. Rob's a great friend, and he's going to talk a little bit about how this event interacts with the college football playoff. So, Rob?
Thanks, everybody. We're actually now 193 days out from the college football playoff national championship game. In my mind, I'm thinking 193 days and 6 hours and 37 minutes, but we'll stick with the 193 days. But that's to the game. And the great thing about this event is it's an entire celebration of college football. So it's so much more than just the game. While the game's the culmination of an incredible season that we're looking forward to, there's a lot of different events that will be poured into that week. Everything from a concert series and Playoff Playlist Live to Playoff Fan Central to the Taste of the Championship. But this event that we're talking about here today is truly special. And so for that week, that celebration of college football to be kicked off by the National Football Foundation Leadership Dinner like this is going to be incredible. And the honoree that they've chosen is phenomenal. You know, when we talk about the college football playoff national championship and what it means to our hometown, we talk about three different things. We talk about economic impact, which the previous two host cities have said that should be in the neighborhood of around $300 million. You talk about social impact in this program, Extra Yard for Teachers, which will infuse $1 million of resources into our local classrooms. And then the third thing is this worldwide or global exposure, this showcase that our community will receive. So you've got social impact, economic impact, and this exposure. Well, when you look at this honoree, Tod Leiweke, and what he did during his time here in our community, he checks all three of those boxes as well. So our hats off to the National Football Foundation and to Ken and the entire team in choosing to kick off this celebration of college football by honoring a man that had just a tremendous impact on our community like Tod Leiweke. Thank you.
Our next speaker is County Commissioner Ken Hagan. Ken was previously the chairman of the Hillsborough County Commission. Ken's a former collegiate athlete in his own right, understands the impact that sports can have on communities, not just from a leadership development perspective for kids and the broader population, but also from what economic impact it has, as Rob just talked about, because these kinds of things, you know, they don't come around all that often. When you get them, you got to take advantage of them, and nobody understands that better than Ken Hagan. So, Ken, could you come up and say a few words?
Well, thank you, Ken, for that very kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I have to say it's an honor for me to be here today to recognize a man that I have an extraordinary amount of respect for. In my 14 years on the County Commission, rarely have I had the opportunity to meet and work with a visionary like Tod Leiweke. And thinking about when Ken called me and asked me about this event, I began to think about first memories of meeting Tod. And what really jumped out at me was when Sean Henry, former COO of the Lightning, brought in Jeff Vinnick to meet with me just days after the announcement that Mr. Vinnick was going to purchase the Lightning. Jeff said he was going to invest into the hockey club and to bring in the best and talent, top to bottom, into the organization. Highlighting that, of course, is GM Steve Yzerman and assembling a Stanley Cup hockey team. However, it didn't take very long to realize that the MVP of the organization was not found on the ice. The foundation and centerpiece of the team's resurgence, and of equal importance, the organization's catalyzing economic growth and becoming a change agent in Tampa Bay, is because of one man, and that's Tod Leiweke. His vision and passion for the team, for the arena, and for the entire Tampa Bay community is unparalleled, and his energy and optimism was contagious. And I would frequently witness this firsthand, whether it was touring Amalie Arena, watching a Lightning game, or during one of our lunches at the Columbia, where he would grab a napkin and energetically start outlining his vision for the organization and for Tampa Bay. It was incredible. In and outside of the arena, I've observed his interaction with countless fans, colleagues, and community leaders, and his innate respect and appreciation for everyone transcended all demographics. Tod is genuine, authentic, and has the unique ability to inspire and to bring out the best in others. And what I really loved about Tod, and obviously being a big sports guy that I am, Tod and I instantly hit it off, but his vision extended far beyond wins and losses. Tod recognized that one of the unfortunate challenges our community faces with homelessness. He exemplified a courageous and compassionate spirit for helping to address homelessness in our community, specifically with street homelessness, which is the most difficult and costly groups to serve. Tod felt very strongly that he could make a profound impact in this area. As chair of Steps Forward, his leadership was essential in establishing the Tampa Hillsborough Homeless Initiative and also in creating a public-private partnership that culminated into Cypress Landings, a 24-bed apartment complex that assists homeless folks into transitional housing. As Ken stated, Tod's accomplishments go much beyond what we're discussing today. He has forever improved our community footprint, and I cannot think of a more deserving individual to be inducted into the National Football Foundation Leadership Hall of Fame. It was an honor for me to work with Tod, and more importantly, it's an even bigger honor for me to call him my friend.
Well, the final speaker really doesn't need any introduction. I always smile because I get to do this a lot. Get to introduce Mayor Buckhorn. He and I have become friends over the years. They say politics makes strange bedfellows, right? Well, he and I have done a whole bunch of different things. This is the first time we've ever done football together, so this is exciting. He's a Penn State guy, so he gets football. He understands it. He was there back in the day. Penn State's still big football. It was probably even bigger back then. But this mayor really gets the idea of why you should bring events like this to Tampa, because they matter. They impact the bottom line. They put heads in beds in hotels. They bring people to the town. It gives us notoriety. And it also sets the stage for future big events. If there's one thing that we learned is when you do one big event and you do it really, really well, people want to come back. People don't say, gee, Tampa screwed that up, we're going to come back there. They say, gee, Tampa did a great job, we can't wait to come back here. So aside from executing really well, you get a bunch of what we call raving fans. You get raving fans that talk about Tampa once they leave here. It's the best PSA you can get because they're going to go back, tell their family, their friends, their grandmothers, their daughters, hey, you guys got to come see Tampa Bay. It's a great place to spend time, great place to vacation, hell of a place to watch a football game. So we're very excited. So this mayor, he understands all that. He gets it. Proud to call him a friend, Bob Buckhorn.
We first got to know each other when Tampa hosted the Republican National Convention, which was almost 4 years, almost to the day. Aren't you glad we're done? Kathleen? That's one of those that we just want to be one and done. But he's absolutely right in that the success of Tampa's ability to host 4 Super Bowls, the Republican Convention, and we did it as well as anybody has ever done it before, led to Bollywood Awards, which led in part to the selection of Tampa as the host for the College Football National Championship. And part of what makes us good at doing this is the people that are involved. I mean, this is a team that started out probably 25 years ago hosting the Super Bowl. Obviously, we do the Outback Bowl every year, but the team has remained in place largely. And it is seamless. It is relatively ego-free. We don't do drama as a rule. We just go out and execute. And we know our lanes, and we know what our job is, and we go out and do what we need to do to put on what, by all measures, have been some of the best events in this country. And 5 years ago, and you know, it's almost, I feel like I'm doing his eulogy because he's not here. So when you see Tod, tell him that I'm not doing his eulogy when he goes on to the afterlife, because I just did it here. But 5 years ago, Tod Leiweke came to our city. And if you look at the trajectory of Tampa over the last 5 years, coming out of the depths of the worst recession since the Great Depression, it has been an amazing thing to watch as we have got up off that mat and moved to the next tier of great American cities. And part of that was the people that were involved. And Tod Leiweke was a big part of that. I mean, he came to this community, he didn't know us. He obviously had a great track record in Seattle and the other places that he's been. But he immediately immersed himself into Tampa and became, by adopted status, a Tampanian. He helped elevate certainly the culture of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, obviously it's Jeff Vinnick's resources, but it was Tod Leiweke's enthusiasm that helped to change that culture and allowed the Lightning on the ice to believe in themselves, but more importantly, allowed this community to believe in the Lightning once again. And we bought into that as a community and have supported that team to the bitter end, to the one game away from winning that Stanley Cup. But that was largely a creation of Tod Leiweke. From the way the fans were treated and the fan experience, to the way the employees were treated, to the way that the city interacted with the Lightning. They were givers, they were not takers. And that's part of who Tod is. And so we were sad to lose him. I mean, I will tell you that in no uncertain terms. There wasn't a person who had interacted with Tod Leiweke that wasn't sad when we lost him. We knew it was a great opportunity for him. We knew he had the opportunity to add value to the culture of the NFL, which, as we all acknowledge, is like this country going through some challenging times. But if there was anybody who could infuse a different dynamic in that culture, it would be Tod Leiweke. He's got a good heart. He's got a great moral compass. He's going to do what's right, whether it's convenient or not. And he's going to exude positivity and enthusiasm everywhere he goes. And for a guy who didn't have the academic credentials that many in his position might have, and to know that he is, for all intents and purposes, an entirely self-made man who pulled himself up by his bootstraps without perhaps a formal education to speak of, to get to the top rung of both amateur and professional sports, and now to be awarded this honor, is a tribute to him. And it's a tribute to his perseverance and his willingness to just get up every day and get in the game and excel. So we are honored to call him one of us. I know he loves this place. I know it was a tough decision for him to leave Mr. Vinnick and to leave the Lightning and to leave Tampa. I have had many a cigar and a cocktail on his back porch on Tampa Bay, and I know how much affection he has for all of us and, more importantly, for this community. But we are oftentimes even prouder when one of us go on to do bigger things on a bigger stage and impact even more people. So congratulations to Tod. May you rest in peace. Did you go on to the afterlife or New York, whatever you... But just know that wherever you are, that we are honored to call you one of us. And we are proud of what you have done, and we expect even greater things coming out of you. So thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you to the Foundation for honoring Tod Leiweke. You could not have picked a better person who represents what we all know, the values of football and sports, and what it means to be a student athlete and a student first, and what athletics does for us as a people and as human beings. Done correctly, it teaches us all the right things in life and the right path to take. So we are thankful and grateful to all of you for choosing Tod Leiweke. Thanks.